This shit the thing. Let me make sure we good in the YouTube land. Shit, I can't see nothing. Okay, here it is. Hold on, let me turn it down. Alright. We black at you again, man. Welcome back to the Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. If you missed the first show that Brother Sean did about Patrice, go back and check that presentation out. It's in the archives now. Today's show is going to be a great discussion. First, I want to say Black African Power, family. Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba E Egungun, Majuba Iba E Ilakba, which means peace in reference to the ancestors, peace in reference to the elders, Egungun Kiki Egungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, and I go by Kofi Paisai. We got a few brothers on the channel. A few brothers on the panel. Hopefully, we'll have a few more other brothers on the panel. So anybody, y'all can open up your mics. You know what I'm saying, and speak to the folks.
ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean, welcome in peace. My name is Sean. Appreciate everybody tuning in. That'll straggle along and hop in. I do want to say something real quick though. If nobody noticed, Kofi's face is on the screen, and he has on headphones with a wireless mic, so he is trying to improve his his ability to go live. And he went and invested in a headset with a microphone on it. So no more using the laptop microphone when he speaks. Now it's high production. He don't know how to use the computer, but then when he got some headphones with a microphone on it, to upstage a regular Google Hangout folk. All righty, Sonetta.
Oh boy, you crazy.
Peace to the chat. The Tup and Ra, Mariaman. Hope y'all enjoy the show. We're gonna go in on this so-called conscious community. With that, I pass it to the next brother Vasa.
He must have stepped away from the mic. You got anything?
Vasa is cooking his food right now, y'all. Y'all know he cooked at 2 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock our time.
Oh shit! Y'all, everybody over there on 3 o'clock time?
Me, Sean, and Vasa is. I don't know about
okay.
Fortune.
Fortune.
Oh, okay. Fortune, you got something?
Man, peace and love. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could say something in a different language. Shakamusu, Berashango. Let me stop. Peace to everybody on the panel. Madagascar.
Fortune, you don't know no West African. You don't know no Metal Natter, man. You gotta come up with something, man.
Oh man, ETM Hotel. What up, man? What's going on, man? Yo, we just chilling with the Mossi tribe. I know y'all don't see me with them all the time, but these brothers are sharp. We got the brother from the Shesh up in here, brother Kofi. Ever since he, got down with the team, he been just dropping presentations. The brother was already preloaded with that ammo, and so, we just giving it from our perspective, man. We just, West Africa, we ain't losing that. So it is, man. So let's just do it. Let's just do what we do, man.
No doubt. I'm gonna share my screen. Vasa, you don't come back from your back till you can play up top. If you hadn't, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Well, he can just jump in. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. I just got something real organized and a few bullet points, and then people can add their own bullet points. Again, this ain't a presentation. It's just a discussion amongst us. And anybody else in the chat that want to discuss or maybe want to hop on, you can.
Kofi. Kofi. You don't
Yeah.
Kofi. You know that we can't hear the music when you got your headphones on, right? Because you got your headphones on. Yeah. See? Now you got to figure out the audio part of that, how to keep your headphones on and play the audio through the speakers for the audience. See how that works?
Yeah, you're right. I took them out.
You try to get cute.
Hold on, let me start back over, man. Yeah, I ain't know that though, man. Yep, appreciate that.
Call for the unity and the redemption of the African world. Salute the honorable Mossi. We are not ready to listen to them. They might not have been ready then. There's wonder whether we are ready. They don't got about to listen. We ready, baby.
I ain't even finna play that because I'm looking on here. Ain't nobody told me that I'm sharing thing to everybody. Am I sharing to
Well, we figured that you had it figured out because you know this new technology that you're using, we still impressed. So we in awe. We don't know what you're doing. We just right here to help build with you on this subject matter. We didn't know that you was just, you know what I'm saying? You had all these new hot buttons and stuff.
Can y'all see that? I ain't gonna even go back to the flag, but y'all see the flag. Y'all see the flag. Flag still flying high.
I don't see nothing on YouTube yet. Okay, now your screen, Shane.
It's up there.
Okay, yeah. You live on YouTube. Let's go, Kofi. We're gonna go to slide number 2.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Let's get it in.
Okay, before we even get to it, but today again, it's just a brief discussion. It's not a presentation. I know most of the time we don't hear me, Sean, Ben, or any other Mossi or Warrior Clan members, we are, presenting presentations. But today, this is just a discussion. In 2019, is a so-called conscious community beneficial to the community? A much-needed discussion by the Mossi Warrior Clan and other affiliates. My brother Vasa Nicolo Gullo, my brother Satepara Mariaman, and we got another member of the Mossi Warrior Clan, Fortune 500, who's on here as well. And again, it's just going to be a brief discussion, an hour discussion. Again, in 2019, is the so-called conscious community beneficial to the community? It's just a question. Last week, I was supposed to do this presentation last week. The ancestor, Amos Wilson, excuse me, hold on, y'all. All right. Birthday, I think it was on the 23rd of February or something like that, on the 23rd of February, and his death not too long past back in January. So I want to honor the ancestor, Amos Wilson. This is what I got on the screen. It's called a Hotep Dina Suit. I used to do these a lot on Kofi Paisai TV, but my brother Sean kind of embarrassed me one time on a live screen, so I kind of stopped doing a Hotep Dina Suit. But I'm back to doing a Hotep Dina Suit to honor the ancestor. At the top, you have the sesh, or what we call the seshment of nature, the sesh. At the bottom, you have the transliteration. I mean, in the middle, you have the transliteration. At the bottom, you have the translation, which is translated into the target language that we speak. All right, so you have Hotep Dina Sut Wasir Neb Jadu Necha A Neb Abdu TF Paret Koret In Hinket Ka Apet Sesh Menket Neb Neferet Wabet Anket Necha M In Ka In Imaku Ma Karu. The translation: an offering in which a king will see Lord of Jadu, the great deity, Lord of Obitus, that he may give a voice offering of calf, fowl, and linen alabaster, and all that is good and pure things in which a deity lives. To the varied ones, Amos Wilson, justified or truer voice. All right, conscious community. We got scammers, liars, troublemakers, pedophiles, and etc., etc., etc. I'm gonna read that again. In the conscious community, and I put this up here because in the conscious community, I know when I started coming into the conscious community, trying to learn and find myself, what I'm saying, find our culture, our traditions, you know, get behind understanding some of these lies, why they lied to us, why they rewrote history, wrote us out of the history book. So I got directed to this community that was called the Conscious Community back in 2000 and late 2011, early 2012. And this community is supposed to be better than the street community that I belong to. It's supposed to be better than the church community that I belong to. I'm just speaking for myself. I know other people come from the streets, come from the church, come from the mosque, come from the synagogue, but this community is supposed to be a better community. But we got the same things that we see in the churches, in the mosques, in the synagogues, the same things that we see in our school system that's in this conscious community, the same things that we see in the streets is in the conscious communities. So I put this on here. We got, and I got another G on there, excuse the typo, because I was trying to type it up quick because I didn't know we was going to do another show right afterwards until after I talked to Sean when we got ready to set up the first show. So excuse the typo. We got scammers, liars, troublemakers, pedophiles, and I could have wrote a whole list of what we got in the conscious community. Now, a few bullet points for this discussion. And again, like I said, I kind of threw something together real quick, you know what I'm saying, to kind of leeway in the discussion. And I know my other brothers, they probably got some other things because we done kind of talked offline a couple of times over the week. And I know a lot of people seen a lot of my posts about me, leaving this trash. I call it the trash community or the chaos community. And I get in my feelings sometimes. So I type some things about what's going on in the conscious community. So I said, let's just do something, about the conscious community, and is it beneficial in 2019 and moving forward? So I know, like, again, my brothers on the panel, they may have other bullet points that they want to add or discuss, and we can do that. And the first bullet points are we learning in the conscious community? Are we learning in the conscious community, and are we learning the right type of information in this conscious community? Bullet point 2 is, or do the conscious community hold those who spread misinformation and those who demonstrate bad character accountable for their actions? Bullet point 4, can our children watch the conscious community platforms on YouTube and Facebook? Bullet point 4, do we have elders in the conscious community, and is their role respected, and again, like I said, I was typing this up real quick, so excuse some of the letters that may be missing, but is holding down their responsibilities. So these are some of the points that we can build on. And then I know, like I said, my other brothers may have some bullet points. Where y'all want to start first? Y'all want to start with the first bullet point?
Yeah. Let's go down the line. Walk it down.
Right.
We're gonna walk it down.
Okay. So well, since you up first, Tip, and we all can discuss, but okay, bullet point number 1: are we learning in the conscious community? The people
I
that
say,
is on.
Oh, my bad. Was you asking that?
No, go ahead.
Well, how you gonna do it? You want to ask it and then we go through it, or what?
Yeah. We ask and we just build on the different bullet points, and then if it's anybody else got something to add, what I'm saying, to the bullet points, we can add those to the bullet points, and we can get the people also. It's not just for the brothers on the panel, but also the people in the chat, so we can go back and forth on the panel and in the chat. So these questions are also directed to the people in the chat, the 28 people that we got watching right now.
Hey, they said the people in the chat said we should do number 3 first and then come back to the second one.
Can I chime in for just a second on that? Which one we start from? I think it would be best to first ask what is the conscious community, and then we can do the 1 or 3 of the chart because we got to
Okay,
define
so
who we
let's
talking
deal with
about.
that, boss. Let's deal with
Right.
that right now. Let's deal with that right now. So I'm gonna try to be brief. So Vasa has a legit question. His question is, what is the conscious community? Consciousness, simply broke down, just means to know. That means you know something. So everybody is conscious of something that they know of. And then you have the belief. We have to separate the belief from the know, because in consciousness, you are supposed to know. And in a belief, you just believe and you don't know. You don't, because you don't have substantial evidence. So the conscious or the knowing came about through the Harlem Renaissance era. Let's just say that this was an era of knowing who we were and where we come from and our greatness in history. This was a redefining moment in African culture. You had, whether it was artistic, whether it was through books, poems, paintings, music, you had this era of establishment. To come out of that, you had the Schomburgs, you had all these great influential people that went into these things. Out of the Renaissance movement, you get book clubs, which really inspires the identity of the conscious community, was the book clubs. Now, you probably heard Brother Trustorian, you probably heard Brother Ankh and Asar, when last year all 3 of them were speaking on the Renaissance and the coming into the conscious community. And then out of that, you had other great minds that inspired and carried on work. Now, I do want to be brief in answering this, and I don't want to hog the mic. Out of the Harlem Renaissance movement, you had book writers. Okay. Let me share my screen real quick. I don't know if Kofi, if you want to take it down just for a second.
Yeah.
I want to show some people some stuff real quick. So
yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
You let me know.
Because I might. You saying? Hey, and when you get through showing this, if you don't mind, I don't know if you got Brother Zaneb. Me and Brother Zaneb is friends on Facebook. I think he want to join the panel. I want him to join the panel.
Yeah, get him on. Yeah, I'll send him the link. I got him.
Okay.
He said he'll be off the road in 20 minutes. I'll throw on the link. I got you, Zaneb.
Okay. All right, hold on, Sean. Hold on. Me put it on you. All right, it's locked on you.
Okay, so through this era, you had book writers, you had readers, thinkers, you had doers. Through this era, you had musicians, you had creators, you had, everybody knows about the Cotton Club. You know what I mean? You had these places to be, things to do. Dr. John Henry Clarke was inspired by something that Schomburg wrote. That letter, that paper that Schomburg wrote inspired him. And my son actually dealt with it in his Black History Month presentation in the fourth grade class. And what I'm showing what's on the screen. I just went to Google real quick because a lot of people don't know this, and they don't know about the work that was put in that era. The creators of consciousness were avid book writers and readers. Now we sit on YouTube and we just watch a video and we think that we know it all. We ain't reading. You have the readers. You have people who read. Then you have people who read and research. Then you have people who read and research and then compare studies. Then you have the reader, the research, the compare studies, and then you have the teachers and so on and so forth. Now you have people that have skipped all these other phases and just teachers. Ain't read a book, ain't done any work. Their research methodology is flawed. They pick a topic, any topic that seems to be familiar with an opposing view of another person, and then they get on YouTube, then they talk about, for instance, monkey stuff. Then they want to paint a picture of people saying we come from monkeys and all of these things. These are right now real-time examples. Or they talk about they ain't African and they've been here their whole lives. All of these things. So I'm gonna end right there, and I just want to let you know I'm getting some Neb in here right now, and he can expound. I know he want to expound because this is a good topic. But I'm done, man. My bad. Let me mute my mic.
No. You good. That's what we need. I'm gonna go back and share my screen again. We'll go back to the bullet points, and anytime I need to jump off, just tell me to jump off. I'm sharing my screen, and I'll stop. And if anybody want to share, show anything, feel free to go. Go right ahead. All right. So anybody else, has a breakdown? We started off with what is the conscious community. So Sean kind of broke down what consciousness is. He also broke down where the conscious community started at during the Renaissance era. Um, so anybody else want to build on top of what Sean already have?
Yeah, I'll go in after him because he did a good job of telling us how it came about and breaking down that. But to me, my perspective, 2019 conscious community is not people that know. It's a collective group of people trying to figure something out. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, yeah, the word conscious mean to know, but when you're in a community, you don't know nothing. You're trying to figure it out. So you're trying to get around like-minded individuals who you can learn something from or try to build from, because you ain't necessarily knowing. And that's just my breakdown of it from what I see. And then the people that do know or they do get some type of knowledge off of it, they end up becoming the people that you talked about before. They end up becoming the scammers, the people that's exhibiting bad character. It's like once they get a little piece of the information and they get around the people that don't know, because there's a lot of new people that come in the conscious community every day. So, they end up preying on their weaknesses. Because like I said, it's a bunch of people that's trying to figure something out. So that's how I feel about it.
Anybody else want to build on what is the conscious community before we go? And then after that, I know I see Zane, peace, brother Zane, and Dave. They said number 3, us going to number 3 instead of starting off. I mean, so we broke down, we gave what is the conscious community, and if anybody else has a take on it, what is the conscious community? Feel free. And then where are we going to start from after that? Instead of starting, are we learning from the conscious community? Is we going to start there, or are we going to start where the brothers in the chat says start with?
More than just the brothers, the sisters. The brothers and sisters agree to start at the third bullet point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But anybody else before we move on and go to one of the bullet points? All right. Well, let's just go ahead and go straight into the bullet point here. I guess we'll just skip around. There have to be no specific order. Can our children watch the conscious community platforms on YouTube and Facebook? Can our children watch the platforms on the conscious community? should I let Vasa start off, and then we can just all build around it. And then, like I said, this is not just only for the brothers and stuff that's on the panel. Again, this is for we're watching the chat as well. So, um, feel free to answer the question, give your take, give your perspective. You know what I'm saying, in the chat. We'll read it out. We'll discuss it and so forth.
I can tell you right now, 96% of the content is not educational. It's more entertainment. The small few that are pushing to educate, don't get the most views, aren't liked the most, aren't appreciated the most,
Woo!
aren't looked upon the most. And one of the reasons being is that go back to what Satepara said, what the conscious community means to him in 2019. We're in an era of reality TV that dominates the airwaves. So if you have people following personalities and they're being entertained by these people personalities, then they are attracted to that. And so if I sell you on my personality, then I will have a huge following. See, there's one thing that I know how to do, and that is to sell myself to people, because I had to sell my whole life. So I come from, pushing stuff on people that they really don't want, they really don't need, but because I'm trying to get the bag, I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do because I gotta feed my ass. So it's easy for me to do, but I don't want to do that. I want to just put the truth out there, then move on from that. So
I'm coming after you, Sean. I had dropped off. I'm coming after you.
I know you coming. So the whole point, and is it YouTube? Well, Facebook, you can't really control all the content because you got all these memes and you got all these things in real time that are just being reshared or posted. There's some of, a lot of that is bad information. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like on YouTube, you just got to find a way to kind of deal with it. Most people don't like being corrected, and most people think that they right all the time, and most people egos get in the way when you do try to correct it. Now, I have corrected a few people who have posted memes, and they took it well, because I wasn't trying to disrespect them or anything like that. I slide in the inbox and be like, hey, this, and this, and you might want to look at this information. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. Boom, move on. Then you have those that are resistant to that, who think that you're trying to steal their shine or something like that, and just want to become combative and argumentative because of previous situations that they have witnessed on YouTube or so forth. So everything is combative. Now it's my word against your word. And now it becomes a pissing match. But I'm going to pass the mic.
Yeah, thank you. I dropped off, man. That was one of my little honeys calling. Let me stop. The conscious community to me was always the East Coast. I'm going to tell you why. Just like what Sean said, he low-key backed it up and confirmed that by going to the Harlem Renaissance, or where that's at. That's in New York. New York is the largest city in this country, so that proxy, that would mean it would boast one of the largest Black populations, at least in an urban setting. And so in that area, we were exposed to a lot of things here up north. I mean, a lot of things that we couldn't do in the South. We had a slight, not that much of a better advantage, but a slight advantage. It's a melting pot. You had the Caribbeans, the Latins, the Africans, and of course, the white people are here. And so a lot of people came here to study, and we picked up a lot of those methods, and we learned. And when I got into this whole conscious thing, yes, it was mostly New York, but then there was parts of Philadelphia. Other cities contributed, to our history, but the community that we associated as the conscious community, we looking at New York and we looking at Philly. I mean, You looking at NBK, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them cats is from the East. Danny, true story, a very intelligent brother, very knowledgeable. That's the East right there. You know, so I look at it like that area, and that's what a lot of those people are rooted in. You know, a lot of the people that we're talking about in this community. For the third point you got right here, yes, of course, our children can learn from the community. I mean, it's not whether it's not answering whether these people are a good example or not, but whether they're a bad example. If they're a bad example, you still can learn because you can learn how to separate the nigger stuff from what's actually supposed to be conscious. Conscious is just like he said, to know or to be aware. And some of the most wickedest people are aware of. They're aware of a lot of things. I was just having a conversation earlier with a brother. Knowledge is power, and that's probably the most easiest thing. It might be debatable to some brothers, but I think it's one of the easiest things accessible to black people right now is to at least pick up a book or watch a video. Once you get that power, you go talk to people who are less informed, and you have a power over them because they don't know certain things, and you're charismatic, and you convince people to believe in certain things, and you're able to slip in your own little doctrines, or you're able to slip in your own agendas for whatever you're trying to do. But of course, our children can learn if we're standing back looking from a different perspective, and we saying, look, these people, they're saying valid things, but look, they're scamming the people. They're reading these books and learning different languages, but they're adulterers, they're liars, they're scammers. This is the part that you want to discard once you start learning more about yourself. The hardest thing is to apply it. You can recite and parrot all day, but of course, our children can learn even from the ignorant stuff. Some of the man, like when I got into this stuff, some of the worst people I met was so-called conscious people. You know what I'm saying? Because they were aware of certain things, they knew certain things, and they used it to their advantage, man. So for that point, most definitely we can learn. So whenever y'all get to the rest of them bullet points, I say my piece, but to then I just pass it to whoever else want to speak.
Anybody else? We still on Can Our Children Watch the Conscious Community platform on YouTube and Facebook. I mean, and I'll just go. I put that out there because I have a 12-year-old son, and I put that out there because, like I said, because I have a 12-year-old son. My son sees what I does. He go and look on the wall. I got a wall full of books. So he see those books. My son sees me studying. My son sees me. He's up. When he's with me, he's up all night with me. Up all night with me. He sees my head buried in a laptop, buried in a book. I'm writing 4 or 5 books. I'm comparing information from this book, that book. He sees me articles. He may see me from time to time on YouTube. I'm not a YouTube junkie. I don't watch a lot of what's going on the conscious community. I know a lot of what's going on through various other groups. I'm in the Mossi Warrior Clan. I'm in the Seshu Ma'anu Metanetra group. Also the Kofi Paisai TV. It has become like a few of those brothers on the group is also that's I call that a group too. You know what I'm saying? That's the Kofi Paisai TV family umbrella. So I pick up a lot of things of what's going on in the social community, the conscious community, uh, on their various platforms, through them saying stuff or posting timestamps about who did this, who did that, and etc. Even if I do try to go and watch some of those things that they post and see, my son's 12 years old. My son can't watch that. How can I set an example for him? And even in the early beginning, I'm telling my son about the conscious community. You know what I'm saying, son? I'm a part of this thing that's called the conscious community. It's why I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? X, Y, and Z. And these guys and these women exhibit the same type of character that I exhibit. They want to know things. They want to share the accurate information as much as possible. They want to try to lead people in the right direction. They want to stimulate and provoke thought. You know what I'm saying? Get this information out to people that may be foreign to them, so they can kind of get of knowledge of self, try to understand their culture, understand the school system, why the school system does what they does. But in this conscious community, or in this conscious community social media uh, um, way YouTube slash Facebook. A lot of our children, just my perspective, King, I'm not gonna let my son get on these YouTube channels, and I'm not gonna name it's a bunch of, and I'm gonna call them trash. That's what they is, the trash community. You know what I'm saying? YouTube channels. These guys have thousands of people following them. They go on live. They got 400-500 people watching them, and it is misinformation. And these individuals not even sitting there cussing each other out. They talking about killing each other. These are things that I can take my son and walk him down where I grew up in Italy, that they call the Italy cartel, where I grew up in. And he can see those things. He don't have to go on YouTube, but I try to keep him away from those types of things. So I'd be damned if I let my son watch these platforms, or what we call the conscious community, because even I can't even watch it no more because it becomes a distraction. All through the things, these guys that are you have misinformation is being spread on these platforms, and you have ignorant people in the chats. They talking the same ignorant stuff. They talking about how this person is better than this person, or I'll come see you, So to me, that's why I put it in there, man. That I feel like the children cannot watch these platforms. If we calling ourselves conscious, or we might need to use another word than the word conscious.
Yeah.
I think I think that's what we need to do, because I'm looking at it from an African perspective, because I'm African. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for nobody else, so I'm African. So I deal with African culture. I deal with African traditions. I'm a practitioner. I try to practice some of those morals, those ethics, and those principles, you know what I'm saying, from different ethnic groups all over Africa. And one of the main things, I don't care where you go, if you go to North Africa, I don't care if you go to East Africa, I don't go if you go to Central Africa, I don't go if you go to West Africa. You got 30,000 ethnic groups that's in Africa, and most of them has their own culture and traditions. They are mirrored almost exactly, but they are different. They are different in so many different ways. But one of the common things that I see in there, I always see good character. A lot of their culture and their traditions and their systems is built around cultivating good character, cultivating and making people and acknowledging people as human beings. So I understand that. That's why I say I'm an African. So no matter where you go, you will see this character exhibited, where they are talking about molding and fashion and shaping good character. And there is no such, I don't see good character exhibited in this so-called conscious community. If these people understood, like most of these people that's in the conscious community, you got people that say they're Africans, you got people that says that they are Abos, you know what I'm saying? You got people that says that they're Hebrew Israelites. You got people that says
switch that D around too. They took that Abo, put the D, took the D out in there.
Yeah. So you got so many. But a lot of the people that I see, they gravitate more toward African culture, and you see mostly Kemet. Kemet is in North Africa, and even they have the concept of good character. You see what I'm saying? They have this thing that's called Ma'at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that it's too much bad character. Is too much of people, too many grown people not setting the right example for our kids to even be watching this conscious community platforms. That's just my take on it. That's why I wanted to put that on there, because I want my son to watch. My son look at a lot of my videos, our videos. He look at Kofi Paisa TV. That's my own platform. He looks at that. I don't tell him to look at it. He's only 12. He looks at that. He looks at the Mossi Warrior Clan. He looks at Sean. I didn't even know he was looking at Sean videos. You know what I'm saying? But he look at Sean videos on the Mossi. He look at my videos on the Mossi. Being, you know what I'm saying, from time to time. He look at the session, even though sometimes he don't know what the heck we talking about when we talking about the session. Transliterating and translating, you know what I'm saying, certain things. But he look at these and he can look at those things, and I think he like them because we set that type of example. We set good character. We set that Iwa Pele. So he can, he can watch that. But I caught him watching another thing not too long ago. I kind of got upset with him, and took his devices from him, but I didn't take it for long, and I'm not gonna put this brother platform out there. But he was watching it and he was digging it, and I sat down and tried to watch some of those things with him, but then it comes the nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? The host started calling some of the people in the chat bitch niggas. You know what I'm saying? And it just everything started when left cussing each other out. People, so to me, you know what I'm saying? It's we need to keep our kids away from the conscious community platforms. That's just my take on it.
Oh,
go ahead.
Before we move real quick, I just want to say this real quick, y'all. So I want to go back to how we defined it and the purpose of it. I don't know if anybody is familiar with this or not, but there's something called the American Negro Academy. This is one of the reasons why you have this movement of consciousness to come about. And in the American Negro Academy, you had Schomburg, you had John Wesley Cromwell, you had Alan Leroy Locke, you had Carter G. Woodson, you had W.E.B. Du Bois, and many others that come through. I'm just summarizing here for this movement for consciousness to help to entertain and to educate our youth. This is supposed to be something that we took seriously and that we did not take for granted. The power of knowledge, like what was said earlier. So anybody that want to get more familiar with that, you need to get familiar with the American Negro Academy, because that's really what it was as a tool back then. We didn't have ways of educating ourselves like the other people who knew who they were and their history and all of those things. We had to go find, scratch, and dig ours. So, Fortune, go ahead. I think you was about to say something.
When I say as far as with Brother Kofi, I agree. I agree. As far as actually watching it and seeing the beefing and the personality with everybody in the chat just being niggas and stuff.
They can't see number. What I got? Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm talking. I ain't even on mute.
It's all good. Yeah. Nah, I wouldn't just listen like all the way. When I just said even like, but you can learn what not to. There's probably use it as a tool of what not to do. As far as like just say Brother Sean is correcting these people, but he's making a video going step by step showing this person, no, this is the incorrect methodology, et cetera, et cetera. But no, I would not let my baby listen to these people at all. I mean, I would be more involved in that, or there would be some kind of actual direct teaching from me to a child. But no, these people are definitely not suitable. It's too much exposing. It's too much ego. Like I said, it's power. We so desperate for power. The first people we want to use our intellectual powers upon is each other. We want to go spar with each other and call it intellectual warfare on each other. We want to battle each other and see who know what. And like Sean was saying, yeah, we all feel like we want to be special. We never felt special, so it hurts when we wrong. And a lot of times, you know how long it takes to actually be right about most of the stuff you're talking about? To actually sit there and study it, to learn and remember. Back probably when we was with our ancestors, we sat there and probably, got like what they did, Sean, when the scribe got something wrong, they took that little paddle out, gave you a little spanking, you got it right. So all of us just feel like we learning something on the
Listen, man, don't bring the dang paddle up with September on the panel. Thank you.
Oh, I'm just gonna say, there's a psychological trigger that may even cause like a.
I think, brother, can y'all hear him?
Nah, he roboted out on us.
Okay.
He roboted out.
Yeah. Anybody else, man? Until you get back in, Vasa, Satel. We still on Can Our Children Watch the Conscious Community platforms on YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah, nah. What I say is, like your son doing. You know, it just depends on the platform. Like if I'm trying to figure out something about West Africa or something, I'm a let my son watch Mossi. You know, if I'm trying to figure out about our history in the United States, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot on over to MBK, catch that knowledge from our boy Danny. You know what I'm saying? And then if I'm trying to figure out something about Kemet or Egypt, you know, I'm gonna go to the Seshu Ma Nimeru Netter. So it just depends on the platform and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to learn. Now if they just on there just surfing, you know, it's a bunch of garbage out there as well. So, you know, you gotta have the good, you gotta have the bad with the good, and you know, it's always a lot more bad than it is good out there.
Yeah, that's crazy too, man. You know, you mentioned the same platforms that my son was watching. My 12-year-old son was watching, and it's a shame. You know, you got more trash than you got. You know what I'm saying? Then you got good. You see what I'm saying? And it's a very few out of it. That's why my post said, you know, I'm in my feelings. I said 95% of the conscious community is trash. You have a small percentage of people that are actually that understands correct methodology. You know what I'm saying? Apply that correct methodology and try to give the information as accurate as possible, and do not have a problem with going back if their information is incorrect, and changing the information. That's why I put a disclaimer out there. So I'll never go back and dispute or battle a person, you know what I'm saying, over ego. If I'm wrong or wrong, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Now I can, you know what I'm saying, I can correct that information, and I can go, you know what I'm saying, and you can show me where I went wrong at. You see what I'm saying? And then the platforms that we have, you know what I'm saying, the 5% that people that understand correct methodology, you know what I'm saying, ain't in it for getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't getting paid for this, man. I don't get no sleep, and we do things all the time. I don't come, don't nobody. I don't get paid from the conscious community, but I'm trying to you know what I'm saying, do my part as I can by sharing information that people may not know, or building on information and expounding more on information that people may have out there. And we have the Seshu Meta Nature. You mentioned that you want to go to Kemet. That's a group that me and you, Sean, belongs to. You know, so we understand, you know what I'm saying, the culture Kemet, because we deal with the language, which is the running canon, and we deal with the writing script, which is the sesh, or the sesh meta nature. So, but we don't have the following that we should have with that. The Mossi warrior clan, you said you want to go to West. If you want to learn anything about West Africa, you go to the Mossi warrior clan, and your family can watch that, because we exhibit a good character as well as the sesh you do on there, and we try to bring as much accurate information as possible. And you got brothers that also to try to deal with the language and understand the language, the culture, you know what I'm saying, and the traditions. But we don't have that. That platform don't have the biggest following as the other people that has all the chaos and the confusion and the misinformation and misrepresentation and etc. etc. These people have thousands of followers, and we can't get those amount of people that log into those people that are making money off of the streams, that are getting crazy donation buttons, that are going off for misinformation, all for entertainment, the battling back and forth, the trash and the misinformation. That's where this whole thing kind of came about. And my frustration is, I'm like, about you know, and some days I do be like, the hell with this. I can be putting my time into something else, because we feel like we not appreciated, because we not doing, and I'm not gonna compromise myself. I know Sean and any other brother on this platform right now on the panel is not gonna compromise their self. The Seshu is not gonna compromise their self, and the Kofi Paisai family is not gonna compromise themselves. You know what I'm saying? Just to get some views, or get some people that want to donate, want to donate some money, man. And it's just crazy to me. It's like we took Um, this community I thought was a community that I was gonna be. This community was gonna be great. I was gonna come in this community, you know what I'm saying? Didn't know I was gonna be like heavily involved into this community. I was just trying to learn, you know what I'm saying? And then I kind of, a few years ago with the SESU 2005, made my introduction into the conscious community in 2005 with the SESU, and then went on from the SESU, still in the SESU in 2017, built my own platform up, and then I asked to join the Mossi and help, you know what I'm saying, the Mossi as well as the Mossi helped me because it was a dream for me to be a part of the Mossi. But these platforms, man, it's not getting the amount of attention and the information that we're bringing, it's not getting across to everybody. If you go look on these platforms that you spoke of, Satep and Ra, we don't have enough viewerships, we don't have enough people subscribe, but you got other channels that are talking about they the Indians, they talking about the we the Aztecs, we the Mesoamericans, um we the aliens, you know what I'm saying? We can astro project, you know, these people got many followers, and it's just crazy to me, and it's frustrating, you know what I'm saying? And it's frustrating. I went way out on a tangent. I didn't mean to go out on a tangent, but I'm gonna digress.
Nah, you good, Kofi, for real? Cause like you right and exact. Cause I didn't I was gonna mention if I wanted a little bit of everything, I'm gonna go to Kofi Pieside TV. You know,
That's right.
that's the Netflix. You know, it got a little bit of everything. I want to see some West Africa. I want to see Kemet. I want to see some stuff about over here. You know, Sean did some stuff. He did a video about Carolina Gold. I didn't know what the hell Carolina Gold was. You know what I'm saying? I watched it, found out it's some rice and the process of it getting harvested and all that. So, you know, children can learn, but it's just like you gotta, as a parent, you gotta know the direction to send them. So if they doing a presentation on the griots or something, you know, like I said, we going to Kobe Potside TV to find that because we know that's where it's at. It may even be on the Mossi, so you just got to know where to point them.
Yeah, and I agree with Satep on that, and that's a big part of the problem is people not having the ability to know where to go, and we can't let this slip our minds. A lot of these platforms that we're talking about are solely designed for entertainment, so most don't even know educational platforms like this even exist in this realm. They're just simply not aware of it. That's not to make an excuse for it, but that's just the reality of what we have to deal with. So it's more important for us, if we're going to have this conversation, to start thinking, how can we build solid foundations for these types of ideologies to exist and then get permeated abroad? Um, to kind of take away from bits and pieces of the conversation. Um, you got to forgive me, I don't know the brother's name that came onto the panel with us today.
Brother Fortune 500.
Okay, brother
Yeah, he's
Fortune.
a member of the monster.
When he spoke about the conscious community being the Eastern thing, and it led to the Harlem Renaissance period, and Sean gave his output on it as well. Well, we still had dominant minds throughout the South, even spreading west at the time. I mean, that was part of the reason why I started to build on the dream of the all black state, to show that we had great minds everywhere. A big part of the problem is just the economic hells we went through in trying to create these systems. Because throughout our history, one thing that you see is a constant basis, no matter whether you look in the States, Africa. I haven't looked into Southern America, but it is the importance of education, morality, and these types of things to our children. Now we live in a time where entertainment has become the teacher, um, and that's the main go-to. That's the main. The griots are your rappers now for a lot of us, and we have to address these issues, and we have to create better platforms, and we got to put that out. That's one of the first things that we have to do when we're talking about should our children be able to watch it. Like I said this years ago when I first got onto Facebook, I couldn't understand it. Why do y'all have this, but you don't have something to kind of, what do they call it, wing off of it, called kitty pages? Like if we got Facebook, then there needs to be something called kitty pages, just to do wordplay, to where kids could go and they have a platform that is totally governed by adults to where you can't get the sexual content, you can't get the violence, but they can still be who they are, they can still interact with each other, they can still learn from each other, but all the adult behaviors are shunned from them. You know, we need to think this way. If somebody has the know-how to create a platform like that, that might be a good investment. But right now, we live in a world where the most grotesque parts of us are the number one things promoted, and it doesn't make sense to me. I Not to take a personal shot at it, but I call it part of the Missy Elliott effect. When Missy came out and the ideology went to being the baddest bitch, I remember before you couldn't say that to a sister. If you called a sister the B word, you had to be ready to box. Once upon a time, we was brothers. Now we thugs. Now we enemies. So when we look at these platforms, we have to ask, who are they appealing to? I don't want to use anybody's personal platform names because that's really not what this show is about. If we're going to demonstrate good character, we got to go above them. So when we do these things, we have to find a way to really, really analyze what's going on. Are they trying to educate? Or are they trying to entertain? Majority of them want the entertainment. Majority of them see that that's how you can get the numbers, so they promote entertainment. We are seeking education, nation building, unification, and these types of things. So we cannot get discouraged by the fact that we are still in enemy territory. Kofi, you can never shine. You can never. I see Sister Monica came into the chat. Y'all can never get discouraged because y'all might have one, two, three, 20 people watching you at a time. Because it might be those 20 people who can spread it out to their family, one and two at a time, and those numbers build. Yeah, it's disheartening in the aspect that the foolishness is still promoted, but we have to live in the reality of where we at. So we're going to have to deal with these things. But the more, and this is why I said a while back, those of us that know, it becomes our responsibility to do something about it because they don't know. We can't get mad if we see a blind man driving a car and he hits the tree. Somebody should have said back and said, "Nah, brother, you blind, you can't drive, but I will drive you." If y'all get where I'm going. Now, to not get too long winded, I'm gonna try and back out so we can get on. But we have to figure out a way to how to demonstrate responsibility. The more we demonstrate responsibility, a lot of these problems will solve themselves because that's one of the things that's missing is responsibility. So let me chime back out and so we can get to the next ones.
All right. Shoot. Where y'all want to go next? Anybody on the panel? Anybody in the chat?
Why don't y'all go to the first point? Are we
Yeah.
are we learning in the conscious community?
Yeah, let's deal with that. Let's deal with that. Anybody, y'all can go. Just let me know when I can
Go ahead, Fortune. Excuse me.
I used to learn in the conscious community. I did learn some stuff, man. I learned I ain't gonna tell you everything I learned, but I did learn surprisingly it was more about the health stuff, more about the foods and stuff like that. You'd be surprised who you can learn some stuff from. I used to watch I ain't gonna lie, I used to watch Ali Muhammad, Abundance Child, and Inky or whatever, however y'all might feel about them personally or everything that they say. I ain't gonna say that. But I did incorporate more fruits and vegetables into my diet. Now, other than that, I did learn about sourcing information, going and find the source, not just Wikipedia. I actually learned how to use Wikipedia actually because of my dealings in the conscious community. Primary sources, you know what I'm saying? And thank goodness for African culture for Kemet because they left all those artifacts behind that you can source and reference, even though I can't read it all. I did learn. I'd be ashamed to say I stopped learning in the community because it would give you the idea that I just stopped learning, period. But I did keep learning. I kept learning things outside of the community. After a while, things did get static and it got stagnant because we in this exposure era. But early in, I would say the first 2 years, yes, I was learning. Most of the things I continued to learn happened to be dealing with just going in the primary sources. But I mean, there's a lot more that you could probably learn, like financial literacy, such and such, whatever. But in this environment right now, where everybody exposing each other, I could say I got stagnant with the conscious community, and I've learned things outside of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because, like I was saying, you know, when you first come into the community, you don't know. You trying to figure things out. So I'm right where you at. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the early go rounds, you know, I was learning a lot. I'm learning a lot. Health, how to read hieroglyphs, ancient texts. I'm learning. I kind of already knew how to research just from my schooling. So, and I had a professor that always said, like, if you're using sources, you can't use Wikipedia as a source. So I already knew. I never had that crutch, the Wikipedia crutch, because I knew not to use that as a source, but I could use it as a tool. So it ain't gonna be my main source, but it's gonna be a tool to find primary evidence on whatever I'm researching. So yeah, I mean, yes, you do learn in the conscious community, but I feel like it comes within the first 2 years of entering. You know, you learning a whole lot of stuff because you don't know yet. This is a whole bunch of stuff that's foreign to you at the time. You like, dang, the Moors really ruled Spain? Like, black people ruled Spain? So it's like, then you start researching it. So it's like, wow, it's crazy. And you like, okay, Christopher Columbus, he came over here and it was a black man who showed him how to get here. So it's like, okay, we ruled the seas at one point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when the European thought the world was flat, we already knew it was round. So
we got that. We got a problem with that today.
Well,
but keep going.
yeah, but it's like, I mean, just the reason why I said that was because, you know, the Europeans dominate the information. You know what I'm saying? What they put out. So it's like, but we already knew because we wasn't under their rule at the time. So we already knew it was round. And then when the European was dominating, they didn't even know it was round. They thinking they about to sail and fall off the earth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, when you go to school and you learning about all these white men and you doing American history, this, and they don't teach you about the African history, you basically getting a battery voltage, a battery charge of your African history that you did not know that you was great. You know, they only tell you about the slavery and shit like that. So it's like the first 2 years of coming into the conscious community.
Yeah, what they started slavery.
Yeah, and it's like, damn, they were slaves before we were slaves. Like, so it's like you learn a whole lot the first 2 years, and like he said, I'm watching everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how to decipher information. I'm gonna watch Inky. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna watch Ali Muhammad. I'm watching Seti. I'm watching Polite. You know what I'm saying? In his earlier years, I'm watching Tazoriak and them, getting a better understanding of the Bible.
Oh, you a very brave guy to be sitting through that shit. But okay.
No, I'm watching.
He said early.
Yeah, early. I'm talking early, the first 2 years, right?
Yep.
I'm dealing with the inception coming in. So it's like I'm watching everybody. Because if you beefing with somebody, like say if I'm riding with what Polite's saying and he beefing with Tazoriak on the street, I want to see what Tazoriak talking about so I can be like, okay, this is the argument. You know what I'm saying? You gotta play both sides, and then you like, okay, but I'm picking out all the good out of both of it. So like you said, when you're dealing with Ali Muhammad, he do got some good information. You know what I'm saying? He got good information when it comes to trying to better yourself.
Man, he told that more up. I don't know if you seen that debate. What was that, Lord Abba?
Oh yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Woo!
Now, the only thing I really didn't watch was more. I really didn't watch more stuff. Like, cause I didn't like the stuff they were saying didn't make sense. You know, now I do like what they say about law, because you got to know the law, because we under the authorization of the European. So you definitely want to know his law. You don't want to go out here commit crimes because you under his jurisdiction. You're gonna go to his jail if you break his law. So the Moors, I did take that from them. But
Yeah, just don't put a cardboard box on your car for as a driver's license.
right, all that. Like,
I'm a sovereign citizen. Put your hands up.
right. So you got, yeah, like you got to be able to take the good out of it. You got to be able to be like, okay, I know I can't do that, but this right here, I know I can do this. I know I can study the law and better myself. It's like even like because like some of the stuff I had known too, like when you see something in all capital letters, you know what I'm saying? In the court, that's a person. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if it's a business. You know what I'm saying? They look at it as a person. So some of the stuff like if you look at your ID, they all caps. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff they say, I already knew. So I'm like, okay, they right there. So they ain't all bullshit. So it's like you could definitely learn. You just got to know how to decipher information.
I agree with what you just said there, and I was kind of the same way. Like I said, my introduction in the conscious community, well, fathers me in the conscious community, people knowing who Kofi Paisai was 2015, but I got a whiff for the conscious community late 2011, early 2012. And some of those guys like Assetti, well, I'm not gonna name any people, but I'm just saying some guys. I mean, it was a few people, and it was one particular platform in general that I looked at like every day and wanted to send. Actually,
Kofi.
go ahead.
Okay. We are going to say it because if we do not, then we are not being honest. We can do it and still practice Iwa Pele by saying it. So, name everybody on this panel watch Sonetta. Everybody on this panel knew where to go to get the information.
Okay. Well, I mean, a lot of people don't know how I feel about certain platforms. I mean, it's a lot of platforms that I feel a certain way about. And okay, you threw out one of them. Okay, like I said, early 2011, late 2011, early 2012. Again, me being exposed to the conscious community and me trying to find myself because I was always questioning what I was a part of at one particular time was the church. So I always, and not only just that, I just questioned so many things. Even in school, I questioned things. Even I think I had just started enrolling into college. I've been in college now 4 years from the graduate, and I still got a few more years to go before I get my PhD. But I've just always questioning stuff and getting in trouble in school or getting in trouble, what I'm saying, just getting in trouble with my church family, my family, and this particular platform, what I'm saying, I did learn from this particular platform, Sinetta TV. I did learn from, I'm going to say it wasn't the right information, but I did learn, I learned early on that I wasn't going to take the mindset that everybody else is taking today. Everybody that is leaving the church, the mosque, the synagogues, and coming into this community, they is bringing the same thing that they have for as worshiping another individual. Long as the individual speak with rhetoric, speak logical, highly and speaks with these big vocabulary words that we have no clue what the hell this person is saying, taking them on face value, and then we're repeating. All we have to do now is watch the video. Turn on sign of the TV, Brother Polite Steady, Wild Ali Bay, watch a Lord Abba, Jehudi Ho. He's in prison. A few other people that I kind of liked it back in the day. But we watch these
Oh,
guys
you
and we
talking
do the
about?
same thing as what we did when we was in the church.
I was about to say you talking about Tahuti,
Go
natural
ahead.
Tahuti.
Yeah, natural Tahuti, free natural Tahuti. You know what
Man,
I'm
who
saying? But
was
he
up on
had
Alex Jones, man? I ain't gonna lie, I used to like that man, Alex. And Professor, what's his name? Professor Grip. Are you following me? Are you following me? That's
yeah,
Are you following me?
yeah. But you know, some of those. I mean, but you know, with those guys, but we have come. They have become our preachers. They have become our ministers, and they still are. We don't have to go and verify anything these people were saying, long as it's the conscious community. The same thing with the church. Long as he say he's a preacher and he's coming in the name of God, then we listen and we parakeet everything that this individual is saying without going to verify or research to find out what this person is saying is accurate is not. This is what the conscious community has come. It's become, we have become parakeets. We are parakeeting misinformation. We love misinformation and we love entertainment. And that platform could be so much, I mean, so much better if it only exhibit good character and he made sure that the people that was coming on that was sincere and was bringing accurate information, correct information to the community, because the information that is being spreaded now, it is becoming dangerous. I'm telling you, it is becoming too dangerous, and I don't want my family, my son exposed to none of this false information. So we do learn some things, but what are we learning? Are we running the right things or are we running the wrong things? A lot of times we not learning anything, because when you look in the chats got their own conversation going on despite what another individual is presenting. You see what I'm saying? So, but I did learn from Sinetta's platform and a few other people's platform early out in late 2011, 2012. I stopped watching in 2000. I haven't watched it since 2004. Time I go on there now is on there. I'm a roster or a member of the Mossi Warrior clan is on there. Other than that, you know what I'm saying, I don't fool with it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't watch it that long with those particular people on there, because those particular brothers are my big brothers.
Like a robot right now, Cole.
We are affiliated. We are umbrella up city. So, but then learn how to. I started. I've been chopped up.
Yeah, I mean on my end it sounds like you're a little choppy. I don't know what y'all how y'all.
He been chopping up for a minute.
He was chopped up. I sound like, you know.
I'm like, damn, ain't nobody saying nothing. I thought it was just on my computer.
Yeah,
Can y'all hear me now?
I had to ask the chat room if that was something they
Yeah,
was hearing as well.
so let me I wanna answer that. I wanna add to that.
How you gonna add if you ain't heard what I said? I'm chopped.
I heard what you were saying, but you was breaking up in the middle of it.
It was speeding up and stuff. Like we was hearing some a lot of what you're saying.
We heard you. It was just like it was it was a little choppy. You know what I'm saying? It was like when I said something, that's when it had got real bad.
Okay, so for everybody that missed the video, it is blocked because of copyrights or whatever. I don't know if we got to email somebody to get the video unblocked, but I might just do it on Facebook Live.
What?
Yeah. They blocked the video I did earlier.
Oh, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. So, to add to are we learning in the conscious community, when you know the old Sonetta videos were a learning experience, and there was more teaching going on, and because he would have those lectures in his household and he would let people present information and people could actually see. But it was the moment when the Amun Ra squad established the fact that you need to show a source and you must show us the primary evidence for this information that you're teaching that changed the game. So it started eliminating all the things that people were being able to get away with, which speaks back to the points that Kofi made, Fortune made, and Satep and Ra have made about the community. And when the Amara squad set the presidents, they took they took it and put people on notice at the Kemet on trial debate because they came in with the facsimile on a primary source that people didn't even know exists. For one, people probably didn't even know what a facsimile was, which is a copy of the primary. And two, they didn't think that people could get access to the primary documents. It was in that moment that you saw people like Polite, well-spoken, charismatic guy that could get you to believe anything that he's saying because he's countering the information from the Hebrews and the biblical aspect and the Muslims. It was him who actually exposed himself to me for me. Now, what I mean by that is that when he kept deferring to Smash and Unk, that let me know that okay, I'm listening to the wrong person or people because at the time, you know, said it a rah guy. Man, listen, said it can lead a band. He can lead a football team. We can come in and rally the troops on the sideline for football team for the game. He he has that type of charismatic quality. Is that he can rile you up, your spirit up. You know what I mean? Because that's really what he's speaking to, that anger inside you. He can get that the juices flowing, but that's about it. That's about all. And then after that, what happens next? Oh, that's on you. You see what I'm saying? So we have to put these things into to context. Now when I go back and like Satepara, I think he put up an old video of Seti talking in a library one day and he was addressing some information and then a white boy walked by. When Satepara does that, when he puts those old videos up, you kind of see how far you've came the time you actually watched that video the first time all the way up into now, because you see how far removed you are from some of the horse crap that was being said at that time. Even with Polite and the other people that people have taken and grabbed a hold to their personalities, because that's what really happened is people started personality worshiping based on the viewership from what Sonetta had as far as content. He had these main people that he was always showing, and then sometimes he'll sprinkle in some other people, and then we'll get a Ankh, or you know what I'm saying? We'll get Smash on there, and we'll get some people who come in with real information that we can go and we can kind of verify and kind of build on. So though, for me, it was a learning experience, and everybody on the panel is absolutely right. But it actually comes in different aspects for other people, because now you're seeing more of us who are trying to deal with primary evidence and put that information forth so that people can actually counter the misinformation. But it's a whole lot more misinformation. Um, Today, when you look at are we learning now? We're trying, the few of us are trying our best to combat all the misinformation. So you have the MBK channel, you have the Mossi, you have the Seshu, you have the Amara squad, you have the Dagger squad going at Hebrews, you have you have a Salam Hotep's channel, you have a lot of this trying to raise the the academic level up, and start holding people accountable for what they post and how they do things. Because right now, I'm telling you right now, and I'm the brother that messes with the lighthouse, Jamar. When I did those videos on Jamar critiquing some of the things that he did, I let Satep, Kofi, the Setu, and other people hit this dude. For real. Like, hear him. He brags about it. Man, I got 20,000 members. I got thousands of views on my YouTube. I'm selling rep CDs. I got this, that, and the third. All of that. He all about himself. All of that. You know what I mean? And people like it. And if we press play on one of his videos right now, you will hear the bull crap. And the only reason you will hear the bull crap is because the Seshu has debunked a a whole lot of stuff that speaks on some of the stuff he's still using today. And the Mossi has already put out stuff regarding some of the stuff he tried to pull when he tried to refer to West Africa and then go with that. And the Amara Squad scientifically has already developed up a whole lot of things. But guess what? He and other people like him are still selling you horse crap. And then
what it boils down to, people got to know how to, like I said earlier, man, people got to know how to distance the bullshit and take the good shit. Basically, like you said, dude boxed in. His information got hit in Kemet. His information got hit in West Africa. And the Amara Squad scientifically. But people still clinging on to it. It's like they don't know how to come get the real. They want to go get the fake. People like being lied to, man. That's just what it boils down to. People like lies. They don't want the real. Like Mo, she do a channel, or she do a show on financials all the time. I be on there. I see the viewers. It ain't but like 10 people on there. I'm like, this is the shit that you need to be watching right here is how to get some money. Not who beefing with who. So it just people just like being lied to, man.
Can I chime in? That was one of the questions I was gonna ask before Sean started his build just now. At what point are we gonna analyze this statement that we say, "Oh, I can't hate him. He just getting his paper. Oh, he just getting his bread." At what point are we really gonna analyze that in all aspects of this community that we are inspiring to build? Because at what point do we sit back and say, "Oh, it's wrong for them to put out wrong information, but he just getting his money, so I'm not gonna knock him for it. It's wrong for him to be selling drugs, pimping, misusing women, misusing children, but he just getting paid, so I can't get mad at him." Because the more and more we allow that, we have to pay attention to one aspect of that that we typically don't. The very things that we trying to protect our children from, we are promoting it more and more because now they see that as ways of gaining the economic wealth, gaining the popularity, gaining the very things that we are saying is plaguing the community on both aspects of this conversation. And then we'll sit back and we'll make justifiable excuses for it as well. Well, there's no opportunities out here. That's why I'm doing this. The reason I'm stealing cars is because they won't give me a job. Well, the reason I'm talking about aliens and what was it, a belt buckle and an alien mummy? The reason I'm talking about that is because people want to hear it. If they dumb enough to believe it, then I'm gonna be the one to sell it so I can get my money. At what point do we address that aspect of this whole entire conversation, saying
Okay.
that you get what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to
Yeah,
draw a parallel to just make people think that we have to address that one aspect that it is. At what point do we get to that question of is it okay to say I can't get mad at him because he's just getting his money?
and
You
that
know,
you
there's nothing anybody can say to me that will allow my daughters to watch Cardi B or Nicki Minaj. Like, no, as much as I'm trying to make sure that they don't go through the pains of life, why would I put them in a position of having an influence saying that it's okay to take yourself down to that level, especially for something as mundane as money? As much as I know we live in a society to where money is the dominant ideology, baby girl, your life should be more than any price tag that anybody can throw at you, if you get where I'm going. So,
yeah, that goes straight into. Can y'all hear me?
yeah, I hear you.
yeah,
Okay,
we
that
hear
goes.
you.
Yeah, that goes straight into. I put my headset back on. That goes straight into. Is or do the conscious community hold those who spread misinformation or those who demonstrate bad character accountable for their own action? Do this
No,
conscious community? Okay, I could have answered that real quick. No, go ahead and spell. Who was that?
me.
Go ahead, expound on
They
that.
don't.
But they do not.
Nah, they don't. Um, one good example of that is Dr. Umar is one good example. Polite is another good example. Um, um, what's the dude name? Marshall Daniels is a good example. And I'm saying these three. Dr. Phil Valentine is a good example. I'm saying them like this because people are invested into those more so. What I mean by investing, I mean they have a lot of these people have publicly made claims and displayed with receipts that things have not been accomplished or promised to them in some instances. And then in defense of some of the people against Polite, there have been compensation problems, compensations that have been had and some that have not been had. And but people still deal with them, and it's till they get bit by the bug that they realize it. Now, as far as Marshall Daniels, his crowd, which is the dangerous crowd, is a much younger, ignorant bunch. They really influence the love and hip hop in the conscious community because they're caught up in the personality of the person, and he sells the dream. He does the live streams with his shirt off. He antagonizes the ignorance in other people. He gets away with calling females bitches and hoes and that talk about him, and then he talks about people's children. YK the Truth does a great job of exposing the flaws in the guy, but at the same time I think that it's a gift and a curse because people like Asar Imhotep when he did the presentation on how people love the bad guy. He put this presentation out and it should have had 10,000 views, but most of y'all don't even know that Asar Imhotep even did a video presentation that wasn't long at all, maybe like 30 or 40 minutes on people loving the bad guy. And it speaks to our own ignorances, which is our own faults. It is until, like, for instance, and I'm gonna give you this example. I'm gonna bow out. The pills. I bought something from Mama Pill, and it took me months to get it. I never complained on social media. I never complained to anybody who knew the pills personally or anything like that. I went to Blue Pill because I was communicating with him on Facebook and so on and so forth. I didn't know that his mama was out of town at the time. However, what ended up happening is when I finally made contact with her, she said, give it a little bit. She's going to try to get somebody to send it to me. Well, that person didn't fall through because she wasn't there. So when she got back, she made it for me. I didn't have to make it. Made it for me, sent it to me. And then I was cool with that, but it took a while to get it, but I never complained. You see what I'm saying? So, the customer service part of it was a horrible experience for me, but I would never tarnish or taint her name because she does good work. And I was pleased with when I actually finally got it. However, the whole process, but we have to do better as a people around certain things. And some people can get away with it, with this character. And to me, lying and spreading misinformation is worse than you just sitting there cussing all day on your channel. Because
okay, well,
go ahead.
Well, I want to ask you a question then. Okay, the people that spread the misinformation, that's why I put that up there. Do the conscious community hold those who spread misinformation and those who demonstrate bad character accountable for their actions? Is the people, okay, now hold on. Now, is the people that know these individuals that demonstrate bad character and know these individuals that spread misinformation, or they just is worse to continue to support these individuals in their endeavors? Is they also wrong for being on these people platform over and over, even though you know these people are spreading misinformation and they are demonstrating bad character, and they are not what I want to say, they are not exhibiting that they are not exhibiting the proper way for our kids?
They are equally responsible because they co-sign everything that person is doing or those people are doing. and which is a gift and a curse, because they really think that they're really going to get some information, but at the same time they're gonna be entertained by the ignorance. So at some point they're gonna get a little bit of truth, a little bit of lies, a little bit of craziness, and a little bit of all of these things that are built up in that particular person's personality. Because at the end of the day, it's what they are attracted to. They are attracted to a particular personality. When you lead a church, it was my pastor, my bishop, my church, not my such and such. You know what I'm saying? It was always my and then pastor, or my and bishop. You see what I'm saying? It was always that. So when you leave the church, now it's this person that's my boy. That's he does this, and you get, it's the same thing. It's what Wujawu Saber Wujawu always says is you change clothes without taking a bath. You know what I'm saying? So you still underneath them clean clothes, you still funky. So you carry one mess into a whole nother situation. It's just like a female who can't never get over her last relationship. You know what I'm saying? And a male, and let me say, and a male, and that toxic level still can tarnish whatever you got going on moving forward. So we have to be careful. And yes, people co-sign a bad character a lot. And no, I don't think that anybody hold them accountable. Some people try to reach out and have a conversation with other people who exhibit bad character and behavior and things of that nature. But sometimes you can only get it. Then you can only get that person's honesty if they respond to you in an honest manner. If they don't take it wrong, and then now next thing you know, y'all arguing about something, and all you were trying to do is kind of like, set a better example, have precedence if we're trying to move a community. You see what I'm saying? Because we suppose the community, when it goes back to it, the question was asked earlier in the chat: is this still a community? The answer to that is no, it's not. But on the flip side of all of it, we are supposed to be able to advance what our ancestors left behind. So if you built a house, if you built the house, if your parents built the house, why are you down there tearing up the walls? You know what I'm saying? Like all the sweat equity that went into building something, why are we so quick to tarnish and destroy it? We need to add on to the house. We don't need to just tear it down. We need to add on to the house. We add on to the house by remodeling what needed to be remodeled and fixed. So if the flooring is bad, then we need to just redo the floor. Put down new flooring. If the windows is bad, replace the windows. If we need to extend the kitchen and the dining room and the basement, then remodel and do those things. Therefore, the foundation stays solid. But hey, that's it.
Anybody else want to build on that, man?
Peace. How y'all doing?
Brother, who that? Brothers in there?
It's in there. How you doing, brother Kofi?
What's happening, brother? What's going on? It's good to have you on the platform, man.
No doubt. I appreciate being here. Appreciate everybody that's on the panel and everyone that's listening.
You had something to add in that?
No, I came in the middle, so you know what I'm saying. Are you still on kind of the same thing when I was driving earlier?
Nah, we on is or do the conscious community holds those who spread misinformation and those who demonstrate bad character accountable for their actions.
Now go back to the point you wanted to make, though, Sunil.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was just I think we'd have to take a moment and just ask ourselves, are we serious? Is your goal in regards to this conscious community or knowledge of self community, as we said it before, is your goal to better the individuals within your community? And I mean, if some people appreciate the education and the information that we give, and then others, you can tell by just looking at your chat, looking at your views, it's not really reciprocated in support. So, and as far as holding people accountable for bad character, misrepresenting information, the community has never done that. You see what I'm saying? That's on the small think tanks like we got now, like the Mossi Warrior Clan or MBK. It's kind of on those type of groups to challenge your information or make sure they're providing relevant and right information to the people. So it's kind of, it's two different people. Some people like being entertained, and then you like those who want to learn some relevant information. And I'm not talking about something that was 3000 BC. We don't have to go back that far to find greatness. If you choose to do so, there's nothing wrong with that. But when I'm speaking in history, I'm talking about what the steps we took in the beginnings of the 20th century to get ourselves up out of, a social bondage or intellectual bondage. When we talk about Willis Huggins and the importance of what they were doing up there in New York and the Harlem History Club and trying to get our history into these school systems. You see what I'm saying? So are we that serious? Are we trying to create curriculums to challenge what the status quo is or was? You see what I'm saying? So but I think it's a great conversation that you're having. You know what I'm saying? I felt that frustration before when you see how the bull crap kind of gets more attention than the real right information. So I appreciate you doing the show right here, brother. Coach Sean.
Yeah. Anything, Satep? Before we move on, I guess we got one more bullet point. Let me see. Yep.
Nah, I ain't gonna beat the dead horse on that note, because everybody pretty much said what needed to be said when it comes to that. So can't even add on to that. So we can move on to the next point.
Shit. Okay. Do we have elders in the conscious community, and is their roles respected, and is holding down, and is it's supposed to be, is they holding down their responsibilities? And I threw that one out there because of when we talk about communities, in most communities you have a hierarchy in the community. You have the family where you have the mother and the father, the children. Then you may have a chief. You may have an elder in the family, or an elder over that whole community or that whole tribe or over that clan. So, and that's why I did a presentation maybe a month ago on the elders. So I wanted to throw this in here because, again, when you're talking about the community, you can't leave out the elders. So do the conscious community, I'm asking, do the conscious community have elders in the conscious community? And is the elders respected in this so-called conscious community? And if there are elders in the conscious community, are they holding down their roles and their responsibilities and their duties to this so-called conscious community? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I guess let me. I'm gonna be brief. The answer to that question is yes and no. Everybody has someone or that they will adhere to as an elder that's dear to them. Elders are not the same for everybody across the board. Maybe one individual elder may get the respect level as an elder across the board to the mass versus the other ones that are not and do not display. So it's all within the individual person's ability to define what an elder is to them and how that elder is to respond to that individual that seeks that respect out of that person. Okay. So some people that we actually call elders are actually olders, and some of the people that some people may say that aren't really elders, to them, they have the right to say that because they have an elder already and they don't have to adhere to this particular person being that. So you have to respect people's personal decisions on that. One good example is a religious person's elder may be somebody who's of a religious faith base and doesn't have anything to do with where you are in your spiritual settings and beliefs, right? And dealing with this particular, as an example, to Captain Tazoriak's right, it would be General Yohana. I don't like to call him captain, and I don't like to call Yohana a general, and I'm just being honest. But to Taz, Johanna is his man, you know, as is one of his elders. But Taz may also say, you know, he respects somebody like Baba Smalls. You see what I'm saying? Who I may say is my elder. And you see what I'm saying? So for each individual person, it's a different way of defining the role. But it always goes back to how that person defines it. And I'm not going to hold other people's uh, definitions of what an elder is versus another one, because I don't. It's a pissing match.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. And the only reason why I'm saying I can kind of agree with that, because when you talk about the conscious community, and I'm just going to be brief, you talk about the conscious community. The conscious community is just not Pan Africanism. It's just not RBG. You know what I'm saying? It's not African. It's not more a lot of. I mean, it's a lot of African centered, but it's just not African centered. You have Hebrews who are part of the conscious community, Abos who are part of the conscious community. I don't know what kind of box you put those that believe in astral projection and aliens. They also are part of the conscious community because they own one of the biggest platforms in the conscious community all the time. So it's an amalgamation of different communities that makes up this conscious community. So I can agree with you when with what you said about define what one believe an elder would be. I know what an elder would be pertaining to me being an African. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I can agree. Go ahead.
Anybody else?
Well, I think first, before we answer that question, we have to define what you mean. What do we mean by community? We already understand how diverse the populace is within this thing that we identify as a community, whether it be Hebrew, Arab, whatever sect that you're from. But I can't say really holding someone accountable if they never agreed to be a part of this said community. Are we just a bunch of individuals or a bunch of different sects who are trying to promote, you know, Black history? Are we trying to do some, you know, political movement and organization? You know what I mean? That's what we're trying to do. Or we just a bunch of people online giving out information. And then, okay, once we identify those people that we want to be members, are they going to take a kind of oath to maintain some type of moral or good character? Like there has to be things within a community that we all have to identify as being a part of. Because the other side may say, I never was a part of your community. Why are you holding me to standards that I never agreed upon? You see what I'm saying? So we already know everybody has different ideologies. So we're never going to be this one large community really anyway. But as a more of a collective of individuals providing information to the people, whatever your taste may be, whether it's religious, whether it's some other forms of spirituality, or just you in it for the history, then I can kind of see your point. But we have to begin to hold people accountable and people atone for what they did. Like, hey, I was out here slipping. If I said something wrong on somebody live and Brother Kofi come to me and say, hey, Saneb, I kind of think you was wrong. And I can acquiesce and be like, you know what, brother, you right. If it's something like that, then yeah. I get what you're saying, Kofi, but are we going to define who these people are within the community and have those groups, you know, took an oath or agreed to these laws that we are holding them to within the community?
Anybody else?
That's my point.
Somebody say something?
I'm here.
No,
Yeah.
it's just but to add to that, I've already, you know, you and me, I think we've already made it known about how we feel about certain individual people that we look up to and that actually respond and communicate with us through efforts of trying to reach out and be elders to many of us, especially in the Mossi, because to the difference with us versus a lot of people based on the definitions or whatnot is that we could say we inherited and we were blessed with the opportunity to have certain people like Baba Smalls to be associated with the work that we do, especially under the umbrella of the Amara Squad. we, you know, Taka and Yara and
Menku.
Mku and you know, people like that. We already have, you know, because we have not only working relationships with them, but we actually communicate with the ones that we actually call elders. So it's influential to us. Now, some of the other people, you know, they don't take to us. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're not taking to them, like we're not pushing their agenda, so they don't actually take to us because whatever their reasons are, we promote and try to educate and build. Like Saneb said, you know, you got to go back to the community and what we're trying to accomplish and things of that nature. So what we're trying to build is more scientific. And off the infrastructure that we have in place, we're only adding on to that body of work. And some people don't fit into that body of work and they don't talk to us. So it is what it is. And they don't like the fact that we try to correct some of the misinformation. And you know, some people look at those people as elders and so on and so forth. But hey, it is what it is. But man, I'm gonna have to figure out. I guess I'm gonna have to take them videos off, Kofi. But but it is what it is as far as how things go with that, man. But you know, as far as holding them accountable, are they responsible? Well, first, when you're dealing with African tribes and traditions and things of that nature, and this just speaking from the aspect of who we are and our identity, that has been slowly removed from us, those principles and guidelines of eldership and its role. So to reassign and reassemble that, then you know, like everybody's elders are not going to be the same, but if someone if someone is building with particular people who may be elders in the community or may be personal influences in people's lives, hopefully that personal connection and role is accounted for and can work in a way that inspires not only that particular elder, but the individual to actually do more for the upliftment and improvement of Black liberation. Because at the end of the day, that's really all this is about. It's been about Black liberation from day one. Whether it was like Saneb say, recently or 3,000 years ago, everything has been a push about Black liberation, especially when we encounter opposites that did not want to see us advance. Now it's been hell bent over the last few hundred years, in the era of the last few hundred years, and trying to counter that. And we're experiencing it right now. And I say that we having issues right now because the foundation is not solid. We have too much anti-rhetoric against who our identity is. For a long time, we've been this one way. Then all of a sudden, okay, now we're having another identity crisis. We're having a serious identity crisis. Now, this is one that people that are older than us that have been in these movements, like the Black liberation, like the Civil Rights movement, the Black liberation movements, coming all the way through up into the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, you can go back, and these people actually need to be the ones speaking to the identity of who we are, because we are now misinformed about our identity all over again. Now, that is their responsibility, and I don't think that they're speaking up enough on that matter. Some people are not speaking up enough on that matter. Some people are publishing work speaking on the matter, but we don't get to see those people speak out vocally about that. That's it for me on that.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. You don't have enough elders that are speaking up for a lot of what's going on right now. You have some, and I just want to say it's nothing wrong with I just want to get this out. It's nothing wrong with correcting anyone or correcting an elder. It seems like people have a issue with us per se when we're correcting someone or correcting an elder in specific over an error that you know that they may have. One,
that's where it gets tricky.
Huh?
No, I said that's where it gets tricky.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, whoever it is, if they 80 plus, 70 plus, You gotta let them have that. Let's let them have it. For one, even if they stand on it and they say it's firm, it's a fact to them. Who are we to come through and be like, y'all bugging, elders, y'all wrong? Let them have it. They earned that already. You feel what I'm saying? But we can. There's a way to do it and be tactful about it. Not a straight up. I challenge Bob or whoever to an intellectual duel, and I'm gonna
Right.
prove you wrong. Like that, we don't have to participate in that. We can just
Right.
put the info out there, provide necessary references and sources,
Right.
and then let it go. But as far as trying to, go at them in regards to information, and if they standing on something and it's wrong, and we know it's wrong, just like I said, let them have it. Let them eat.
I agree with you.
They earn the right to drink broccoli tea and levitate, or whatever is the thing, whatever is an apple movement, whatever it is, let them have it. Our
Yeah,
job
we
should be our job should be getting at these babies.
right,
We
right.
should be
We're
going for the babies. That's
right,
how we're going to affect change.
right. You're right. You're correct. But I just had to throw that out because people do have an issue with that. Like I'm the type. If you look on social media, you won't see Kofi Paisai in every chat because I when I'm on there, I see a lot of foolishness. I don't per se attack or say I challenge this person and that. I just put the information out there. We had some issues that was going on about African spirituality, so I put out two presentations on African religion, African spirituality, the concepts, the how and why they come up with the concept that they call spirituality, religion, or African spirituality. I deal with that. The Abos, talking about the Gullah Geechee. I got a whole 4 or 5 series on this. I didn't mention nobody name. I'm just saying when I see certain things, when it moves me to do something, I don't comment in the chats. I just put a presentation together and I put the presentation out there. But for those that do say certain things about certain elders, sometimes they do it in an incorrect manner, what I'm saying, that I don't agree on. But it's nothing wrong again with correcting people because I want to be corrected. But I agree with what you're saying too, Sanel, and that's my goal.
Yeah,
Approach
yeah,
the babies, attack the babies, and leave them alone. Let them have that.
yeah, and I think that's the most important element. I don't think there's an issue of correction. I think we have to address, are we correcting, are we setting out to embarrass and overthrow an elder? Because you have to add that into the dynamic of the conversation. Um, let's just use technology, for example. There may be things on these devices, cell phone, computer, iPad, whatever it may be, that I'm not aware of. If my youngest daughter, who just turned 8, came to me and tried to teach me how to do it properly because I was doing it wrong, I would never have an issue with that. But if she came to me at 7, 8 years old, as she's the authoritative figure, and she tried to take my place in leadership, then that's where the conflict would be. So I think it's more or less of addressing a proper way to continue education versus the egotism that we see. Um, somebody it's too many examples that we could pull from, good and bad. But are they setting out to correct information? Or are they setting out trying to get brownie points for their own egotistical motives? And that should be what we look at, because it's one thing to correct, it's another thing to embarrass somebody. For example, your best friend got something on their face and you out to eat. You don't have to embarrass them to let them know, but if that's your friend, you may, correct them by saying, "Hey, man, pull to the side." And we have little gestures for that. You get what I'm trying to say by that?
Hmm.
To
Yeah.
not implement that embarrassment of them, because you got to remember, these are people. They got feelings and emotions as well. And by us being able to do that, that furthermore goes into what the whole conversation
What?
we want to get with. Are we training good humanity? Are we training good behavior? Are we trying to make the best of the community? Or are we implementing imperialism? Are we implementing absolutism to where it's all about me? It's just individual, individual, individual. Because if we have this individual, individual, individual mindset, then what is the community? And it leads us in these circles over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's a good point, Vasa. And like you said, man, whenever you correcting somebody, you gotta your approach is everything. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, if somebody got something on their face, you could yell it out in front of the whole table, or you could just wipe your face in that area and give your homeboy a look, and he gonna know what you saying. Like, oh, okay, that good looking. You know what I'm saying? And when you refuting information, you don't want to. Well, I ain't gonna tell nobody what to do, but I wouldn't want to make a YouTube video about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come with some information as well, and send it to that person. Like, hey, this is what we got. We did it in the SSU group. You know what I'm saying? When we addressed Walter Williams, we just addressed the claim, and there was somebody else who made the claim. So, and we knew where he got the information from. So you address people in writing. You know what I'm saying? Address it in paper. You don't want to go making a YouTube trying to embarrass somebody about that.
Yeah. Well, shoot, let me see. Anybody got any questions in the what's the name? Because we're going to get off here, man, in a few minutes. I got another show I said at 6, but it's probably going to be 6:30 now. It's
Nah, we all the stuff in the chat answered really pretty much.
okay.
Wasn't nothing else. I do wanna say this though. There is I'm with Sunil. If they 70, 80 years old or whatever, man, you just address the claim, and you provide the correct evidence, and you do what we did with the elder Walter Williams, and then you just move on from it, and then because he's not going to be the one that'll be still echoing it. It's going to be somebody else, and or some people that'll continue to echo that, and you just put the book in their face. That's what we do now. Just put the book in their face and not argue with them about it. And then they be like, "What's this, Nev?" And just kind of go from there. So I just appreciate everybody tuning in today and earlier today. Unfortunately, I don't know if Ben got to send an email to YouTube, because I think that because the channel is not monetized, that they'll let it ride out, because we didn't play videos before with that has had copyrights and so on and so forth on the channel, and they had not touched it at all. But I guess because of the source of information, the actual sources that were present in this particular presentation, outside of that little video, man, they got a thing of wanting y'all know about Lamont and how they did them. But nah, that's a conspiracy talk. But yeah, we'll see. Ben get it back up. That'll be a cool thing. If not, then I'll probably have to do it live on Facebook one day and let people see it and be able to catalog it themselves when they want to refer back to it or refer a friend.
Yep. And we again appreciate y'all, man, for tuning back into the Mossi Warrior clan. Support us, man. Support us, man. Here, please go subscribe to these channels, the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature. We are a like-minded group of people who are scribing to be scribes. We are studying the language, which is the Running Kemet, and the writing script, which is the Sesh Meta Nature, or what y'all know as the hieroglyphs. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of videos where we're transliterating glyphs, Freestyle Fridays, Divine Words Wednesdays. Welcome to the Sabiat Dome. This also go subscribe to our not our YouTube, but our Facebook channel. It's also Seshuma Ani Meta Nature, as well as the website Seshuma Ani Meta Nature.com, where you want to get some of the publications, whether it be the beginner's course, if you want to learn the Sesh Meta Nature, the penmanship, if you want to learn how to write, which was written by Emmy Cat, who's a female member other issue, the rebuttal book that Satep Ra and Brother Sean talked about a while ago, the rebuttal to Walter Williams. Um, Also, go subscribe to the Kofi Paisai TV. It is the African Netflix. It is the channel that takes a black man, black woman, black child, Eurocentric mind, and Africanize it. So please go support that channel as well. We'll also be going back live again between 6:30 to do a presentation called Queen Warrior Mahu Musa. From she's a queen from East Africa, but I'm gonna walk you back through a certain other individual who expired or who they say possessed Mahmoud Musa, who fought against colonialism, and whose legacy still lives on, and who also expired the Rastafarian movement, and also who expired Mahmoud Musa was another woman who expired or possessed her. We'll be talking about her before we go into Mahu Musa, the Queen Warrior. So that's a great presentation that I think everybody will like and inspire some of the women, because we need to do more things talking about what the women did also. So please go and subscribe to that channel. Please check that channel out. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please tune in between 6:30 when your notification go out to check that presentation out. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the Monster Warrior Clan, please subscribe to the Monster Warrior Clan channel. Please support that channel as well. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about all these platforms. Also, like our Mossi Warrior like page on Facebook. We have a lot of information dealing with Africa in general, just not West Africa. We touch on East Africa, South Africa, as well as Central Africa. So check that out. Also, tune back in next week. We'll be talking about uh, the Witta religion that started in South Africa, which is to the Akun tradition from the Akan, and the voodoo of the Vodam systems from the Togo and Benin. Those two African cultures or ethnic group merged their two systems together and created something called Witi. So and I'll be that presentation will be next week on the Monster Warrior Clan channel at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So please subscribe. Please support. We also have Brother Seneb, who's also on the channel. Please go in if you haven't subscribed to NBK YouTube channel. Please go and subscribe to their channel as well. That is a great platform that I also watch, as well as Mossi, as well as the Seshu, as well as the Kofi. So please support those platforms, those people that is not entertaining, but bringing the real information and bringing as accurate information as possible. Anybody else got anything before we peace out?
No, I just want to say appreciate the opportunity to come by and speak to you and the channel, and you know what I'm saying, your followers. Appreciate that shout out for the channel as well.
No problem.
I want to say something. It's odd that we did this show today. Is the conscious community beneficial to the community? And during the presentation, we had a real life moment up to the second of something to say we can pull from. And what I'm talking about is Sean being made aware that they took down one of his videos or flagged it. You didn't see Sean immediately start bashing YouTube. You didn't see him bash and come up with a conspiracy theory, start cussing. The first thing you seen him do is try to identify what it was that he may have done wrong. And we don't even know if he did anything wrong. It could have been somebody behind the scenes just purposely trying to dismantle the video. But the first thing we seen him do was say, maybe it's because I did this. So I'm going to have to correct that so the message lives on. And that kind of goes with a lot of what was talked about, the behaviors. Can we address and correct each other's? Little things like that we should pay attention to and salute it for, because that shows how we can do these things properly. Because we may not always have agreements, but if there's a saying I like, just because you don't see eye to eye don't mean you can't walk shoulder to shoulder until you get where you're going. And with that, I'll close out to not keep it going for too long. But I mean, these are things that we just have to start being mindful of and learning how to demonstrate as well. You know, we have to apply our goods just as much as our faults, because that's one of the things that we see in ever so women at the moment, and it's creating a polarity into us. Either we discouraged or we becoming resentful towards each other. We too discouraged to think we can be great, and then we have too much resentment towards those who are reaching greatness. And we have to find the median in between there to where we can promote the idea of each one of us can be great. So, and I'll chime out to not keep going too long. Peace to everybody on the panel and peace to everybody in the chat.
So, Tip, Fortune, y'all got anything? Fortune might done popped out of here.
No, I ain't got much, man. It was a good conversation. It was definitely needed. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we can do another build because you can go on about this topic, you know what I'm saying, for a couple hours. So probably had to revisit it, whatever. But yeah, hope everybody enjoyed the show, and we'll be tuned in for the next one.
Fortune still on here, Sean?
The Most High killed his internet.
Well, Fortune 500 is also a member of the Mossi Warrior clan, the brother that was speaking earlier also that was on the
Hey,
platform.
man, you know people gonna really call him Fortune.
What they call him? You know what they call him?
You know that, just call him Fortune, man. We
Yeah.
put the 500 on there because we're being funny, but
Oh shoot!
please,
Called it.
look.
Why he kept saying that? I'm like, damn, what he did?
We call him something else in the back chat. We can't bring it out in public yet because he might get mad at us. You know, if we bring that out. See, he ain't right there, Kofi.
Yeah.
Can't respond right now.
Okay.
You know he broke it. Hey, listen, y'all. Everybody go show him some love. The little poor baby broke his ankle in the snow. Don't ask me how he broke it. I'm gonna say he tripped over his own feet because they don't know how to walk straight. But he had to have surgery on his ankle, man. He down right now. He got a little stitches. He talking to us. He finally talking to us now. So, you know, go over there, show him some love, pat the little baby on his back. All I got.
Yeah. Well, man, we out of here again. Like I say, if you hadn't subscribed to Kofi Paisa TV, please go subscribe to Kofi. Will be back between 6 and 6:30. Present. I'm not gonna keep it long. It's a small presentation. It's probably a 35-minute presentation. It's not that many slides. But I found this Queen Warrior very interesting in her story and the backstory on how who inspired her and who inspired, like I said, the Rastafarian movement and so forth. So tune back in if you're interested in learning something about the Queen Warrior Maha Musa, which will be on Kofi Paisa TV at 6 or 6:30 tonight. We out of here. Peace and love. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Modupe and Moriri.
All right, y'all.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, I was saying goodbye. I had to. Man, go ahead. I ain't gonna. I'm here, man. Support. I'm just saying goodbye.
Stop taking Lord tabs in the middle of the show. You can stay away.
Oh, y'all funny, man. No, I ain't gonna hold nobody up, man. This is a lovely show. I was listening, and man, do our thing, man. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Go ahead, close it out.
All right, man. Well, peace, family. See y'all at 6:30 or 6 o'clock on Kofi Paisa TV. Peace.
All right.
Once again, Kofi headset is on, and he trying to play a video, and we can't hear the video.
I ain't playing it no more, man. I'm sorry, y'all.
You cannot
I'm sorry.
play the video with your headset on, Kofi. Now I'm sitting over here crying like, man, this Kofi did this again. This the second in the show. Let me Iwabaruru you off the app.